5 types of people to avoid visiting after 65. Have you ever noticed how some social gatherings leave you feeling utterly depleted? As we age, it's not just about how we spend our time, but also who we spend it with. Certain personalities can drain our energy, leaving us feeling worse than before. In this video, we'll explore 5 types of people whose homes you might want to avoid visiting after 65. Staying tuned till the end will empower you to protect your energy and cultivate relationships that truly enrich your life. Let's dive in. Number 1. The Unsolicited Advisor. We all appreciate helpful advice, especially when we're facing a challenge and actively seek guidance. There's wisdom in seeking counsel from those who have traveled the road before us. But the unsolicited advisor isn't offering wisdom gleaned from thoughtful consideration of your situation. They're dispensing pronouncements based on their own, often rigid worldview, regardless of whether it aligns with your needs or desires. They offer it constantly, whether you've asked for it or not, turning every casual conversation into an opportunity to tell you what you're doing wrong. They have an opinion on everything: your diet, your finances, your relationships, your healthcare decisions, even your choice of curtains or the color of your front door. Every visit becomes a lecture, leaving you feeling less like you've connected with a friend and more like you've been subjected to an unwelcome performance review. You leave feeling micromanaged and judged, not nurtured and understood. They might start with seemingly harmless suggestions, perhaps couched in phrases like, "Have you considered?" or, "You know, what I found helpful is..." But these seemingly innocuous openings quickly escalate to pronouncements about what you should be doing, delivered with the unwavering certainty of a self-proclaimed expert. The underlying message, whether consciously intended or not, is that they know better, and you're somehow inadequate or incapable of managing your own life. This can be particularly damaging after 65, a time when many are navigating new life transitions and grappling with issues related to health, finances, and personal identity. Having your choices constantly questioned and criticized can erode your confidence and leave you second-guessing yourself, precisely when you need to feel most secure in your own judgment. It can also create a sense of resentment and strain the relationship, turning what could be a pleasant social interaction into a source of stress and anxiety. Remember, you've lived a full life, accumulated a wealth of experience, and are perfectly capable of making your own decisions. You deserve to be treated with respect and to have your autonomy valued. Surround yourself with people who recognize your wisdom and offer support without judgment. People who listen more than they lecture, and who understand that offering advice is a privilege earned through trust and mutual respect, not a right to be exercised indiscriminately. True friends offer support and encouragement, empowering you to make your own choices, rather than trying to dictate them. They celebrate your successes and offer comfort during challenges, but they trust you to navigate your own life's journey. Number 2, the competitive comparer. These individuals turn every conversation into a subtle, often unconscious competition. They see social interaction not as an opportunity for connection and mutual understanding, but as a playing field where they constantly measure their accomplishments, possessions, and even their family members against yours. Even seemingly happy news you share is met with a one-upmanship response, leaving you feeling deflated and inadequate. You mention a recent trip to the coast, enjoying the tranquil sound of the waves and the salty air, and they immediately launch into a detailed account of their more exotic, more expensive, and, of course, more relaxing vacation to a private island in the Caribbean. You share a proud moment about a grandchild finally mastering their multiplication tables, and they'll regale you with an elaborate, often embellished, tale of their grandchild's even greater academic achievements, perhaps already tackling advanced calculus, or writing award-winning poetry. Every shared joy becomes an opportunity for them to assert their perceived superiority, subtly shifting the focus from your experience to their own, often exaggerated, version. This constant one-upmanship creates a pervasive sense of competition that can be incredibly draining, particularly after 65, a time when many are seeking genuine connection and mutual support. Instead of finding solace and camaraderie in shared experiences, you're left feeling like you're constantly falling short. You're never quite good enough, your accomplishments never quite as impressive, your joys never quite as profound. The insidious nature of this competitive comparison lies in its subtlety. They might not be overtly boasting or belittling your experiences, but the underlying message is clear. They're keeping score, and they're determined to win. They might preface their one-upmanship with seemingly empathetic remarks, such as, "Oh, that's nice, but wait until you hear," or "That reminds me of the time I." These seemingly innocuous phrases are often a prelude to a lengthy recounting of their own superior experience, effectively diminishing the significance of your own. Spending time with these individuals can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, as if you've just run a marathon you never signed up for. You leave their company feeling not refreshed and energized, but drained and depleted, questioning your own worth and accomplishments. Remember, life isn't a competition. It's not a race to accumulate the most impressive experiences or achievements. True connection and genuine friendships are built on mutual respect, empathy, and the ability to celebrate each other's joys without the need for comparison. Surround yourself with people who genuinely appreciate your experiences, who listen with genuine interest, and who offer support and encouragement without the subtle undercurrent of competition. These are the relationships that truly nourish your soul and enrich your life, particularly in the valuable years after 65. Seek out individuals who understand that true happiness lies not in surpassing others, but in cherishing the unique tapestry of your own life's journey. Number 3. The emotional dumpster. These are the folks who treat every interaction as a therapy session, unloading their burdens without any regard for your emotional state or the give and take of a healthy conversation. They might be going through genuine difficulties, a challenging illness, a difficult family situation, financial struggles, and these are undoubtedly weighty matters deserving of empathy and support. However, every visit to their home, every phone call, every chance encounter transforms into a relentless monologue of woes, leaving you feeling emotionally exhausted and drained. They're so consumed by their own troubles that they become oblivious to your presence as anything other than a captive audience for their litany of complaints. They rarely, if ever, ask about your life, your experiences, or your well-being. The conversation, if you can even call it that, revolves entirely around their problems, their anxieties, their disappointments. You become a sounding board, an emotional sponge soaking up their negativity, often without the opportunity to offer meaningful support or even a simple word of comfort. It's essential to recognize the difference between offering a listening ear to a friend in need and becoming someone's emotional dumping ground. True friendship involves reciprocity, a balanced exchange of support, encouragement, and shared experiences. When the scales tip too far in one direction, and you find yourself consistently shouldering the burden of another person's emotional baggage without any reciprocation, it's time to reassess the relationship and prioritize your own well-being. Empathy and compassion are valuable qualities, but they shouldn't come at the expense of your own emotional health. You're not obligated to absorb another person's negativity, especially when it becomes a chronic pattern that leaves you feeling depleted and overwhelmed. Protecting yourself from the emotional drain of the dumpster requires setting healthy boundaries. This might involve gently steering the conversation away from their constant complaints and towards more neutral topics. You could try saying something like, "I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm here for you, but perhaps we could talk about something else for a while. How is your garden doing?" Or, "I understand this is difficult, but have you considered talking to a professional who might be able to offer more specialized support?" It's important to express your care and concern while simultaneously redirecting the focus away from their negativity and towards more constructive avenues. If redirecting the conversation doesn't work, you might need to limit your exposure to the emotional dumpster. This doesn't necessarily mean severing ties completely, but it might involve shortening your visits, declining invitations, or setting clear limits on the amount of time you're willing to spend listening to their woes. You could say, "I'm happy to chat, but I only have about 15 minutes right now," or, "I'm a little overwhelmed myself at the moment, so perhaps we can catch up another time." Remember, it's okay to prioritize your own emotional well-being. It's not selfish to protect yourself from the constant barrage of negativity. You deserve to cultivate relationships that are mutually supportive and enriching, rather than draining and depleting. Especially after 65, your emotional energy is a precious resource. Invest it wisely in relationships that nourish your soul and contribute to your overall well-being. Number 4. The Gossipmonger. These individuals thrive on drama and negativity, filling their homes with whispers and speculation about the lives of others. Their world revolves around the perceived flaws and misfortunes of those around them, and every conversation is laced with judgment, criticism, and a subtle, often unconscious, delight in the failings of others. Stepping into their home is like entering a swirling vortex of negativity, where reputations are dissected, motives are questioned, and secrets are whispered with a salacious glee. You leave feeling not refreshed and connected, but tainted by the toxic residue of their relentless negativity, as if you've inadvertently taken a dip in a pool of emotional sludge. They often present their gossip disguised as concern, cloaking their judgment in a veneer of faux empathy. They might preface their pronouncements with phrases like, "I'm just worried about her," or "I'm only saying this because I care." But their true motive is to spread rumors, create division, and elevate themselves by subtly diminishing others. They derive a peculiar sense of satisfaction from being in the know, from possessing information they can use to paint themselves as more informed, more perceptive, and ultimately more virtuous than those they're so eager to criticize. The gossipmonger's home becomes a breeding ground for negativity, where every casual comment is scrutinized, every innocent action is misinterpreted, and every perceived slight is amplified into a major transgression. They excel at reading between the lines, finding hidden meanings where none exist, and constructing elaborate narratives of wrongdoing based on the flimsiest of evidence. They are masters of innuendo and insinuation, skilled at planting seeds of doubt and suspicion that can quickly blossom into full-blown conflicts. Over time, this constant exposure to negativity can significantly affect your own outlook and relationships. You might find yourself unconsciously adopting their cynical perspective, viewing the world through a lens of suspicion and distrust. You might start questioning the motives of others, second-guessing their intentions, and withdrawing from genuine connections out of a fear of being judged or criticized. The gossipmonger's negativity can be insidious, subtly eroding your own sense of optimism and your faith in human nature. Choosing to spend your time with people who lift others up rather than tear them down is essential for maintaining your own emotional well-being particularly after 65. Surround yourself with individuals who celebrate the good in others, who focus on strengths rather than weaknesses, and who approach the world with a sense of optimism and generosity. These are the relationships that truly nourish your soul and enrich your life, providing a much-needed antidote to the toxic negativity of the gossipmonger. Protecting yourself from the gossipmonger's influence might involve gently steering the conversation away from their relentless criticism and towards more positive topics. You could try saying something like, "Let's focus on something more uplifting," or, "I'd rather not discuss other people's private matters." If redirecting the conversation doesn't work, you might need to limit your exposure to the gossipmonger. This doesn't necessarily mean severing ties completely, but it might involve declining invitations, shortening your visits, or politely excusing yourself from conversations that veer into negative territory. Remember, you have the right to protect your own emotional space and cultivate relationships that are supportive, uplifting, and genuinely enriching. You deserve to spend your precious time with people who inspire you, encourage you, and celebrate the joys of life, not those who revel in the misfortunes of others. Number 5. The technophobe. While not inherently negative or ill-intentioned, the technophobe can inadvertently drain your energy and consume your valuable time with their constant struggles with technology. Every visit to their home transforms into an impromptu tech support session as they bombard you with a litany of questions and requests, asking you to fix their computer, explain the intricacies of their smartphone, reset their Wi-Fi password for the umpteenth time, or navigate the ever-evolving complexities of the internet. While helping others is undoubtedly a commendable and often rewarding act of kindness, these repeated requests for technical assistance can quickly become a significant burden, particularly as you navigate the complexities of your own digital life, perhaps grappling with software updates, online banking, or the latest social media platform. It's perfectly acceptable, and indeed often necessary, to offer occasional assistance to friends and family members who are less tech-savvy, but setting clear and consistent boundaries is crucial for protecting your time and energy, especially after 65, when you deserve to enjoy your leisure time without the added stress of becoming someone's unpaid tech support. The technophobe's struggles with technology often extend beyond simple questions and requests for assistance. It might express a deep-seated anxiety and distrust of all things digital, viewing the internet as a mysterious and potentially dangerous realm, filled with scams, viruses, and confusing jargon. They might regale you with tales of their latest technological mishaps, recounting how they accidentally deleted all their photos, sent an email to the wrong person, or fell victim to a phishing scam. While these stories might be intended as cautionary tales or humorous anecdotes, they can inadvertently reinforce your own anxieties about technology, creating a sense of shared frustration and unease. Moreover, the technophobe's resistance to embracing technology can create a subtle but persistent barrier to communication and connection. They might be reluctant to use email, text messaging, or video calls, preferring instead to rely on traditional forms of communication, such as phone calls or handwritten letters. While these methods certainly have their charm, they can also be less efficient and more time-consuming, particularly when trying to coordinate schedules, share information, or simply stay in touch with friends and family who live far away. You might find yourself spending an inordinate amount of time explaining the benefits of online communication, patiently demonstrating how to use various apps and platforms, or simply relaying messages and information between the technophobe and their digitally connected contacts. It's important to remember that the technophobe's struggles with technology are often rooted in a genuine fear of the unknown, a sense of being overwhelmed by the rapid pace of technological change, or simply a lack of access to adequate training and support. While empathy and patience are essential, it's equally important to recognize that you're not obligated to become their personal tech guru. Your time is valuable, and you deserve to pursue your own interests and activities without the constant interruption of tech support requests. Setting boundaries with the technophobe might involve gently but firmly declining their requests for assistance, suggesting alternative resources such as online tutorials, local computer classes, or professional tech support services. You could say something like, "I'm happy to help occasionally, but I'm not really a tech expert. Have you considered checking out some online tutorials?" Or, "I'm a little busy right now, but I'm sure you can find some helpful resources online." It's also important to set clear expectations about your availability, letting them know that you're not always available to answer their tech questions. You could say, "I'm happy to chat later this week, but I'm not available for tech support right now." Remember, setting boundaries is not about being unkind or uncaring. It's about protecting your own time and energy so that you can continue to enjoy your retirement years to the fullest. You deserve to cultivate relationships that are mutually supportive and enriching, not draining and depleting. By setting clear boundaries with the technophobe, you can preserve your valuable time and energy for activities and relationships that truly nourish your soul and contribute to your overall well-being. As we wrap up, remember that choosing who you spend time with is an act of self-care. After 65, your peace of mind is precious. It's not about being selfish, but about prioritizing your own well-being. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, inspire you, and make you feel valued. Your time and energy are finite resources. Spend them wisely. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below sharing which of these personalities resonated with you most. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos on Life After 60, all for free. If you'd like to support the channel and help us continue to bring you the latest tips on thriving after 60, please give this video a thumbs up. We appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you in the next one.